Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an awesome life. I did just get up. I do have a little lip gloss on, but no, I don't have makeup this time. But I was making my coffee and I was contemplating a couple of comments. And of course, a lot of emails that come over that are very similar. I mean, I get quite a few. And that is, how do I get out of this horrible situation? Of course, people write me, like days, a couple weeks before they're going to get kicked out of their place, or they're going to be homeless, or whatever situation. And they want an answer from me. They want me to give them an answer. First of all, I can't possibly know the details of your life from a paragraph, help, I'm getting kicked out, I'm depressed, I lost my job. So my answer to that is going to be pretty much the same, and that is cause and effect is all created through you. Somebody said, I'm ignoring my bills and they're not going away. Well, you're ignoring your heartbeat and your kidney function and everything too, and that hasn't stopped. Why? Because things were put into motion and created. And they are a product of what you have created. So if you want your bills to go away, pay them. You're on planet Earth, and those people who provided those services deserve to be paid for the electricity that they give you and all the other things that we receive because of their work, because they have families and they need to pay bills, and that's how our planet works, at least at this point. So the other thing too is, I lost my job, I'm depressed, we've had everything shut down, I have 2 weeks to get rid. Help me, kind of, email. What transpired, and I've done videos on this called reverse engineer. Here, I gotta adjust my chair here. I said in one video, let's reverse engineer everything. No horrible relationship happened overnight. No job loss happened overnight. There's always an accumulation of something that happened to get to that point. And it is part of the journey and the experience that brought you to exactly where you are supposed to be. And that is, here is the result of all that transpired at this point, up to this point. The universe is showing you, not as an intelligent thinking separate being, but as you, the total intelligence that says, you have done this, this is where you have brought yourself, okay? I lost my job, I'm depressed. We're not paying our bills. Now there's 2 people in that household. And I know a lot of hardworking people that will go out and do anything to get jobs and pay the bills. And it doesn't sound like that's going on. So again, I don't know the details, but the bottom line is, what are you doing to remedy the situation? Number 1. If you're not in a high spiritual place, okay, this is your opportunity to go there. To say, I have now hit rock bottom. The world's not working with me or for me because I'm creating that. I'm creating that result. Cause and effect is your contribution to what's going on, and the result is in your face. Here's the result of, I have somebody that thinks they're better educated than anybody, they're smarter than everybody, and then of course they can't get a job, or they can't keep a job because their attitude is driving people away. It's the ego saying, I'm better than you. They want to just pop in and get paid for sitting there knowing things, but they don't have the practical experience that others do. They truly don't. Why? Because they won't allow themselves to be humbled in a place where they have to just learn and work. And a lot of times we're not willing to go into that space. We just want things to plop in, and this is not the world you came into. There's a journey in learning. There is some, work that has to be done. There are things that you have to go through that are going to challenge you. That is part of your spiritual growth. That isn't like, oh, that time period where I was just, doing all this crappy stuff and now I'm here meditating. That was the most valuable piece, because how are you handling that? What are you creating within that challenge? Are you allowing it to take you down? Are you allowing it to say, here's the material world. Now what are you going to do? You're unhappy. Or are you going to say, the material world isn't what's making me happy. It isn't the material world that's important. Wow, I have been seeking this and seeking that and going, and then you get depressed because you're seeking it in the world. And it's never going to make you happy. That's why I tell you guys, if you manifest from a lower frequency, the results, the effects are not going to be good ones for you. They will be good, and I don't want to say good nor bad, because for me, my opinion is everything has value and that it is good. Because ultimately you're going to learn a lesson, but you're not going to feel like it's good at the time. It's going to feel really bad. That is the most valuable lesson, to say, look at this. Why are you here? Let's reverse engineer. Let's go back here and here and here and here. Now what? What did you do along the way? What was the pattern? What happened that kept going boom, 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 boom? Right? What were your efforts along the way, and what are you doing to change that? Are you going out and getting a job? Are you doing what it takes physically to remedy the situation so you can get on your feet and say, okay, I have to make some changes. Maybe I have to get some training in something else if I didn't love what I was doing. If you have to take care of family, you must take the steps to do that in the material world, until you can get into a place where you can make some positive changes. If you don't like where you are, if you're okay with that, then by all means live that life. It's okay. It's okay to live that life. If you're okay with it in here, and you say I don't need all of that. Maybe very wealthy people sometimes can really lose everything and be so relieved of it, and live much simpler lives. Who is it? Lives in a sort of like a trailer home, a really nice one out here. Does not want all the stuff, the trappings. So everything is cause and effect. What situation are you in right now that you can reverse engineer and say, yep, I made that decision and that one and that one and that one and that one. And it started back when, and you can go way back sometimes, back when, and then you started to make all these decisions. Back when I didn't think I was worthy. Back when I dated somebody who didn't treat me well. And then I knew it, and I married them anyways, and it didn't get better, and I knew it. I knew they were not good for me, and I stayed in it anyways, another cause. And then I had children with this person who treated me badly. Oh, let's bring some kids into the situation, right? But at the time, maybe you don't know better. Maybe that's where you are spiritually. Maybe you just don't know what to do with that. Maybe you just really don't get it. And you associate abuse with love. And you haven't learned the lesson yet. So you have to hit rock bottom till your inner soul says, I deserve to be treated better. So, I hear a lot of times, oh gosh, should I get out of it? Should you get out of it? Oh, but I have kids. Well, that's the more reason to get out of it, right? But it's still your decision. And that is the karmic relationship between you and those children. Are you going to make that effort to do the right thing? Or are you going to continue to be a victim? Are you going to go get the job and do what it takes and get counseling or debt relief or whatever else you need to do to get back on your feet and earn it back and learn what it feels like to do something for yourself that makes you contribute, that helps you to contribute, and makes you feel. Nothing makes you feel, you feel. You do that from inside, where you feel worthy and valuable, and you know that you're capable. And you don't have to do what you love all the time. I'm always promoting that for people who are in situations who can make that transition. I have a lot of people come to me, they can't even afford the tuition for the internet education on landriaonkka.net. If you go over there, you can see what I did. It's school. You have to have the money to go back to school, right? You must have the tuition fee. So if you're not at that stage, how can you go back and learn something and be in a position to implement something that is going to challenge you? Get yourself on your feet and learn how to do that first. That is the first foundation. That is not, when you are struggling and you're broke and you need, you don't go and launch a company. That's a challenge. That takes a different mentality, and we teach that. We teach how to be an entrepreneur, because most people aren't. They're in an employee mindset. They feel like everybody else is in control. So when you're hitting the rock bottom, you're not feeling in control, right? You're not feeling in control. And nothing I say is going to change that until you take the action. Now, sometimes, I always talk about the 3 F's: feelings, focus, and forward motion. But if your feelings are not in check, and you have a situation where if you reverse engineer and you realize, I got myself into all this, and you did. Nobody else did that. Every decision you made along the way could have been different, and you'd be in a different reality right now. But you're not in a different reality because you're supposed to learn something from this. What is it? What am I supposed to learn from this? I did this. Why did I do this? What decisions did I make along the way that were not good ones for me and my family? And I want to make that different. I want to change that. And it's time for me to be a different person, because you can be a different person at any point. You truly can. All right? I know a lot of you struggle with this. You know, it's like, you know, how do I change this? Sometimes it just takes baby steps, but it takes action, because along the way, you know, and I'm not into fake it till you make it. I say take action and move forward until you start to shift into the new energy field and start to connect to that. You're not faking being rich or faking anything. You're just going into that field and saying, okay, I know what I'm capable of. And even if you don't feel like you're capable of, you say, I need to pay my bills. I must get up and take a shower, look good, present myself well, and go to every single interview I can until I get a job. And I'm going to go and go and go and go and go until I get a job so that I can pay my bills. Boom. First thing solved. Now, I'm not into it. I don't feel good. I'm still depressed, but I'm going to go in, and that I'm going to fake, because I don't want to be that depressed person. So I am going to take the action and be that new person. How would that new person act? How would that happy person act? I can go into that space. I can go through the motions of that, and you start to feel it. You start to feel less depressed, because you're not focused on the depression. You're focused on being the person who is happier. So you go over here. You're taking the action. All right. You know, somebody's a caregiver. Same thing. We can't pay our bills, and I'm depressed. I'm so depleted I can't get a job. No, you can get a job. You can do anything you want. Don't give me that crap. You can get a job. All right? I held down 2 jobs at one point. Now, I was working for a landscaper, doing administrative during the day, and then I would go straight to a restaurant and wait tables. I was the worst waitress ever. I also got the most tips because I was really nice. I'm here to tell you that we've all been through stuff, everyone. And when you see people that you think never have, then you just don't understand humanity. They all have their challenges. And you believe if money's involved and they don't have the financial challenges, that they don't experience the depths of darkness. And they absolutely do. There are other things that go along with that role that you will never understand if you've never been in that position. And they will never understand yours. But we've all exchanged these roles over and over and experienced all the same. And I want to tell you that this is your role right now, and you can change anything. And you have to ask yourself, right now, what is the number one thing I need to take care of? Is it your bills? How can I do that? All right, can I call and get debt relief or call my creditors right now and work with them and tell them what I'm doing? So what do I have to tell them what I'm doing? Well, then I better have a plan. You go and you start to get interviews. You go on every interview you can. You look good and you go on every interview you can. Well, my wife is going to have to get a job too. What can she do? Well, maybe if she has to stay home with the kids at a certain point, well, then maybe we go and we, find her something that she can do at home. Maybe she babysits other kids. Maybe she, brings a couple babies in, just babysits. You don't have to break, you don't have to become one of those nursery daycares and break rules, No, you just tell the neighbors, I'm looking for some work. Oh, I have a few hours a day. I'm cleaning homes. Can I clean homes? Oh, I used to love doing that when I was a kid. My mom's friends used to hire me to come in and clean their homes for extra money. I'd do anything for extra money. Garden, clean homes, organized. I loved to work. There was nothing below me. There was no, if it involved earning money, I was there on time and I'd keep going. Can you come back tomorrow? Yes, yes. And I would work hard the whole time. I worked really hard and I loved it. It felt good to get that money at the end of the day. I'd earned it. I made little pot holders and I would go door to door and knock. And if I didn't have a color they like, I go, well, what's the color of your kitchen? Oh, it's yellow and red. Oh, I can make yellow and red ones for you. And I go home and make them and come back. I have yellow and red ones that match your kitchen, and they buy them. That's a beautiful experience. Are you doing that? We lose that. When we get older, we get tired. I don't like what I'm doing. All right? Well, if you have to do it right now to pay your bills, then do that until you put your second plan in place of doing what you love, which is important. In my internet training, we have a lot of people, in fact, most people, almost everybody, has to keep their day job, the one that they hate, that they're trying to get out of, while they're getting trained. Just like anybody who goes back to school. You don't quit your job unless you can afford it. People, they work all day, then they go to night school. We don't think twice about that. Well, this is online. They come home and they start working on their internet training. How to earn money online, how to create a business, how to do whatever so they can earn more money to at least live a better life or eventually quit their job. Not everybody does that. Most people just do it as a second business, and then they have their day job. There's so many options for you right now. You're not taking them. Saying you're depressed, okay. You allowed yourself to go into that dark place. And I know, I've been into a deep, dark place. Man, I remember one time I didn't get off the couch for 3 days. I didn't shower. I slept for 3 days. I don't even remember getting up to go to the bathroom. I'm sure I did. On the couch. I was so lost. So lost. It was a very, very long time ago, but I remember that. I distinctly remember not being able to just get up off the couch nor wake up. Because sleep was an escape. And I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to go into the world again because that meant I had to face that I was in a situation I didn't like. And I put myself there. I used to do Kelly service, if you guys know that. I was really good at that. If they called me, man, then they used to call me because I was one of the few people that would get someplace within an hour. A lot of people, you had to call them in advance and schedule. Not me, man. I would show up, and I was one of their #1 people that they would call. I'd show up on time, looking good, and I would work my butt off. No matter what they wanted, I would give it to them with a smile. And I often got asked to stay on permanently. That happened quite frequently. I proved that I was a good worker. That's how it works, cause and effect. You go in with a bad attitude, you're going to get fired. Nobody wants to work with that. Whether you like the job or not, or whatever you think about it, or your bosses. Can you be your best? Find that solution. It's out there. How did you get in your place? You know, this is the lowest that the unemployment rate has been in, I don't know, in ages, eons here in the United States. The lowest unemployment rate ever. The job rate is massively amazing here. The economy is flourishing. If you can't go out and find a job now, you know what? Businesses are hiring. I see signs for hire all over the place. I see here in Atlanta stores opening and new buildings going up. You know what? Even if the economy was horrible, you can create anything. You can get that job. What are you going to do? Because you're in your position, because you're supposed to learn something from it, because your actions have brought you here. Your actions have brought you here, not your parents, not anybody else. You can turn anything around. And you have to decide, how do I change this? How do I become independent to get away from a certain situation? I allowed myself to be vulnerable. I allowed myself to have to rely on somebody else's money and not have skills or develop them. So now, the consequences of that, the effect, is that I feel like I can't leave a certain situation. So, okay, don't beat yourself up. Remedy it. Find out how you can change that. There are all kinds of places out there that will help you. All right? Nobody wants to see anybody suffer. Go get that job. Take care of your family and ask yourself what you can do. And as I shared with you, if you want to own a restaurant, don't walk around like, I'm going to own a restaurant. Go in and start bussing tables. And then start waiting them. Then work in the kitchen. Then go behind the counter. Then become the manager. And then pretty soon, like what I just saw happen with some friends that I know, you'll be owning the restaurant. And that owner is going to say, this is who I want running my restaurant now that I'm going to sell it. And they'll cut a deal for you so that you can afford to have it. These things will happen. Because why? You were your best. You don't want to give a restaurant to somebody who resents being there or is depressed. You were being your best. So find that environment. But in the meantime, do what it takes to remedy the effects of the cause. What's the cause? All the things you did up to that point. We have to take responsibility. Because when you do that, you empower yourself. When you admit that you got yourself here, nobody else did, then guess what? Yay. That means you can change it. And nobody else has to do that for you. Not me. I'm not going to do anything for you. And then a lot of people, give me money, Landria. You should give me money. Why? Why should I give you money? You're not going to change your behavior. That's it, being an enabler. You want to really change your behavior? Hit rock bottom. And that's what a lot of people are doing. And this is their awakening to say, I don't want to live that life anymore. I'm not going to be that person anymore. I'm not going to blame others or keep going to everybody for solutions when I can do it myself. We've all been there. We've all been there. Right? And you learn. That runs out. People stop returning your phone calls. Family members don't want to talk to you anymore. You've run the gamut. Now what are you going to do? Right? There's always some big idea you have, but you're not taking the action. Yeah, maybe you have to work for the landscaper and bus tables at night. Until, and I'm not doing that anymore, right? I became an investment banker. I didn't even have a degree in that. I decided I want something different. I went to school. And I had to put myself through school. Right? So you can do it. Anybody can. You look at a lot of people who came from places that like homeless people that are millionaires now. That doesn't have to be your goal. But you want to pay your bills? Let's start with that. Cause and effect came from you. You got yourself there. Now what are you going to do to get out? Because it's time for you to change and become the person who doesn't sit in that situation and blame the world and become depressed. This is your awakened moment. This is your awakening. Change it. It's waiting for you. That probability right now is waiting for you to choose it. Put your focus on it. Boom. 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 You envision that person. How does that person act? Well, it's not how I've been acting. It's not complaining and asking other people for money. That person goes and earns their money. That person finds solutions. That person makes phone calls and says, I don't want a handout. I want a job. I'll earn it. What can I do to earn it? I don't want you to just write me a check. Can you call your friend who owns a store? I'll work there. I'm willing to do what it takes. Oh, okay. Yeah, he said, come on over. I know you don't have retail experience, but yeah, he's willing to hire you because you're my relative. That's the phone call people don't mind answering, right? Be that person of value. Value yourself. Be that person who can go out there and become anything they want. And don't be afraid to do what it takes to get there, because we're on a planet where the journey, you're going to learn so much from it, right? We don't want that journey. We just want to get there. We want to be there. We want to have the thing, the job, the money. That's why you're not getting it. The people who have it, they're okay with the journey there. They're okay with what it takes. And it's an amazing journey. And it's one that will change you. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. Namaste.